That's...
And now we are live. Jeremy Segel-Moss is here to join us and to talk about his wonderful career and his wonderful life. And so he's getting something ready, and there he is. He's ready. And so now, Jeremy, I just want to talk to you about how you first got interested in music.
Oh, sure. Well, my dad is the one who taught me how to play guitar from the jump. He is a guitar player, and really turned me on to a lot of music. And
what was the stuff you liked?
Growing up, I listened to all kinds of things. We listened to a lot of rock and roll early on. And then in my teenage years, I really we listened to Led Zeppelin, but the moment I heard Muddy Waters, it was over.
Muddy Waters that's amazing.
Yeah, it was early. And then I didn't play publicly until I was 25. And that's when I met Carrie Listen and Adam Andrews, and we started the Bottoms Up Blues Gang.
Wow.
And that was 20 years ago.
Well, so how did that turn into a career as the head of the Blues Museum?
Okay. So it's the St. Louis Blues Society.
Right.
And that is something, I had never planned to play on stage or to play music really. But as I it's a long story. I was on the road with the circus, and then I came back to St. Louis, and a lot of the old guys are the ones that once they found out I had a guitar, it meant that I was going to be a guitar player. So some of the older cats like Benny Smith, Eric McSpadden, Tom Maloney, these are all St. Louis legends.
Right.
They said, "Oh, you have a guitar, you're going to be a guitar player," and so they taught me how to play and really fostered the Bottoms Up Blues Gang in general. And then, I was kind of an organizer before I was a musician. So for me, it's a way to give back. And the St. Louis Blues Society is an all volunteer organization. So we do this, with all love and do the best we can to take care of our community.
Well, definitely. And you've done some amazing things during the pandemic. So tell me about that.
Okay. So the Blues Society is one of the aspects of the St. Louis Blues Society is our mission fund, and that's been around since the jump. And that fund has primarily been for musicians who are in like big trouble, like if they have a health scare, and we can help out with a certain amount of money. And we've been able to give out some, but not a ton. But as soon as the pandemic hit, we kind of turned off everything but that and started to raise money to give to the out of work St. Louis blues musicians.
Right.
And in 2020, we raised $100,000.
Wow.
And in some partnerships with the community foundations, Resilience Fund and the National Blues Museum also helped. And a lot of individual donors, as well as some fundraising things we did. And we gave out over $100,000 to musicians.
Wow. That's amazing. Now, I noticed you've got some new gifts. Is that right as well?
One of the ways that we created a way for people to give and for us to give back is we partnered with Kababi Bayak, who's a local painter. He's done everything from a Prince album cover to something for the Blues Society. And so Kababi has done paintings of two legends so far in St. Louis. We had Henry Townsend, we did first, and then vocalist Renee Smith.
I know Henry's son, Alonzo, so I know about him.
Yeah, so Alonzo kind of leads this committee and really makes it happen.
Right.
And so we're about to release a third painting. What we do 100 prints, they're all signed and numbered from Kababi. And this next one is going to be of Big George. So we're like, this is a way for people, they're $60 a piece, and all the proceeds go into the mission fund, and then we write checks to musicians.
That's fantastic. And so now, give me some names that people need to know about St. Louis music and St. Louis blues in particular.
Yeah. Like you're just looking for names of musicians? St. Louis is
named.
St. Louis has one of the greatest musical histories in the world. And so from ragtime to rock and roll, we say, from Scott Joplin to Chuck Berry to Nelly, right? And among those many musicians are, a lot of them have deceased now, but you have, someone like Henry Townsend, who recorded in 9 consecutive decades, Oliver Sane and Fontella Bass. You know, you have the Benny Smiths and the you know, Arthur Williams is still alive. I mean, it's pretty endless. And
Really
it's as important of a music city as any that there is.
in the world.
And
Yes, I agree with
yeah,
that entirely.
yeah. And so the Blues Society, we kind of have a dual thing here. Like on one hand, we like to preserve the history, you know, so
Right.
we put out a blues letter, or we do help with interviews, or we just try to shine a light on people. And then we, you know, also try to perpetuate it with the living blues.
Right.
We have, you know, a couple years ago at the Big Muddy Blues Festival, there was 65 St. Louis blues bands. Like, that's
Wow.
unheard of. You can't do that
That's
in
big.
Memphis. You can't do that in Chicago. Yeah, and with no talent lost by having it like that. I mean, we
Right.
haven't, and the musicians are also kind, and they are. We've seen it through the pandemic of everyone looking out for each other. It's
Right.
been wonderful. It's just all in all, like, it's been a one of the things this year has shown me is what an amazing community we have, and that we all look after each other. And
Exactly.
it's just
That's a big
fantastic
part
that
of
way.
this thing is learning how many people want to work together to make this all better, as I would say.
Hmm. Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
so, what's coming next for the Blues Society? What's next?
Well, this year we're going to continue to talk to the musicians and see what they need. You know, we're you know, playing it month by month when it comes to the pandemic. So
Yes, everybody is.
yeah, so right now the most important thing for us is to continue to raise the visibility of musicians who have no other income. There's
Right.
not another job they can go get, or they're older, or they don't have, you know, there's any number of things. So we continue to raise money for the Mission Fund, and basically every time we raise about $10,000, we turn around and give 40 people $250. Right.
Wow.
So the next big George painting will be out sometime at the end of February. So that's one way if you wanted to get something for your money.
Absolutely. Yes.
Or you can just go to the website, stlouisbluessociety.org, and just donate straight away. We've had people that are donating their whole stimulus check. We've had people donating a couple $100 a month, you
Sure.
know, like for the whole time. And it makes a huge difference to a group of people that's been just devastating.
It's so fun, and it's so fun to hear about these amazing stories, including the stuff that you're doing. And so I just like to have people on and talk about music and what's going on. And so give me a couple other names. The Muddy Waters was the first one, but who was big for you early on?
Well, you know, as soon as I sniffed out St. Louis, when I was sneaking into bars when I was, you know,
Right.
18-ish years old,
Right.
you know, there are institutions in St. Louis, like in St. Louis at the Broadway Oyster Bar every Monday night
Oh, yeah.
is the Soulard Blues Band for over 40 years,
I
right?
know.
I mean, Artie has seen Artie Dwyer is kind of leader of that band,
Right.
and he's kind of seen everything. You know, I remember there was a while then in St. Louis, if you remember, where there was kind of a rotating group of people. Like every Monday, we were
Right.
over at the Oyster Bar.
Uh-huh.
Every Tuesday, we were watching Tommy Bankhead at BB's. Every Wednesday was Benny Smith at the Venice Cafe.
Right.
Every Thursday was Oliver Sane at BB's. You know, this was a really wonderful time. And while those people have passed, the people that played with them are still alive and are still playing
Right.
nightly. I mean, in a normal year. And
Yes.
so on the Blues Society page, we've actually kind of all month for Black History Month, we've been posting different Black musicians from St. Louis. I think today we did Eric McSpadden, who's a harmonica
Yes.
player here in town.
Love that guy. Yes.
And then, you know, there's all the soul players like Roland Johnson or Gene Jackson. You know, there's just truly so many. And I think when you go to a Big Muddy Blues Festival, or when you pick up, so here's something. So the Blues Society, we have a compilation CD that we've put out every year for the last 5 years.
Great.
We haven't repeated a band. It is
Okay.
all original music recorded at Blue Lotus Studio. And so if you picked up all 5 of them, you'd have about 85 St. Louis bands playing original
Wow.
music.
That's
And so those are all on the website as well, if your listeners are interested in that.
right.
But yeah, it's a fan. I mean, it's just a really big group of people. It's hard to just like start naming folks off. I mean,
Yes.
Marquise Knox, he just turned 30 years old. He's not a young man
Knox
anymore.
is a big deal and going to be bigger, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's so fun to see all these things coming together. And I just like the work that you guys are doing. And I really wanted to take a minute and talk to you. So anything else you want to say before you leave? Or is that about good?
Well, hey, I just want to hope everyone is safe and healthy. I really appreciate you shining a light on the work we're doing just to take care of these musicians, because without them, we don't have music, right?
Exactly, man.
So, I'm always available if people want to talk about it. And
now I've got your
I just appreciate everything you're doing.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye now.
Okay, let's go here and we'll end the stream. There we are.